when my son actually asked me to get involved when Cesar was giving him the runaround before he passed away. Cesar is a very slick individual. He never wanted to physically meet me and sit down with me.
It's not necessarily a real estate RICO. What it is wire fraud. And wire fraud is, I think it's 18 U.S.C. 1343, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, it's a charge that the feds use all the time. It's like a 1001, like false statements, wire fraud.
World hip hop. World hip hop. Feds raid iHeartMedia offices after DJ Envy, business associate, gets arrested. They also confiscated electronic equipment in connection to their investigation of Envy and Cesar Pina. It is getting really, really hot out here on these hip-hop streets, real estate streets. The feds pulled up to iHeartMedia, raided the offices of DJ Envy, The Breakfast Club, Morning Show. And it all started with this man, Tony the Closer. Tony the Closer is a big-time real estate investor. He's taught many to make money in the real estate game. First heard about him during the pandemic on $1 million worth of game. $1 million worth of game. Right.
I got scammed from an investment that I made, six-figure investment, that I still don't have my money back. You 6 figures.
Like 100,000 or 200,000?
Closer to 2.
Damn. Is he black, white, or Hispanic?
What the guy was doing essentially was he was saying, yo, look, I have a real estate deal that I'm going to do. I need you to give me some money and I'll give you a return after a certain period of time. And he would make these people sign contracts. But unbeknownst to the investor, he already had the property, he was already controlling it, and he already had, secure financing or whatever to have it. So he would take their money and use it to do other things.
Is he black, is he white, or is he Hispanic?
Hispanic.
Oh! Oh!
He's a very slick individual.
Husband NJ Cesar is a genius. He uses his brother as a contractor. He's buying the properties. This works out like years. Give me your card. He don't got a card. He gives me his information, Instagram, whatever. I start following. I see every day he's posting. This is how we do. You see the work. This is what we doing. We hire him. We buy a house in Patterson with another realtor. His name is, he's from over there, Patterson. They all work together. They all stick together. We buy a property in Patterson, a multi-family. It needed to be knocked down. I'm going to build it up for you. I'm the best contractor for you. I got you. First thing contractors do, they get paid before the job. So I had to deposit $97,500 into Lucci's bank account. I deposit the cash. I got all my paperwork. I'm currently with a lawyer and all of that. I got all my paperwork. This nigga was never a contractor. He was never a contractor. He wrote me a floozy contract, had everybody in the trap landlord shirt. So I'm thinking, this is his company. You a contractor. You Caesar's little brother. And at the end of the day, nah, he wasn't. He ran with 50K. At least he gave the contractor 47. He ran with 50. I've been trying to get my bread. He don't got no proof, nothing to show. I tried to reach out to Cesar. He didn't DM me back.
Cesar is a very slick individual. Very slick.
I paid you $550,000 in a matter of 2.5 years. But supposedly Cesar owes you $500,000, but you sued me?
This whole thing is just insane when you think about it. DJ Envy, well known in the industry, especially if you're in the New York area. This man's a legend. He's been in the game for years.
Very slick.
Hopefully, he's not as involved. Hopefully, he wasn't aware of what's going on. But then again, if you're one of the victims, you don't really care about all that. It's a tough situation.
And what took place to make that relationship change?
What, with Cesar?
Yeah.
Well, you know, pretty much, you know, that he has a platform that he sold me on with Flip the Dow. And you know, for many months he was trying to get me to do it. And
Very slick.
I did it, you know, blindly without anybody knowing, because, you know, unfortunately when you believe in someone so much.
He's a very slick individual.
This is not a good look for Power 105. This is not a good look for iHeartRadio. Definitely not a good look for Envy and his family and everyone else that's involved. And it's a dirty world out here. Pina was arrested, him and his brother. They are both out on bail.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's real money to have receipts for, Tony. You're trying to reach because you have nothing to do because you're a loser. Tony, you're a loser. Remember that. You're a loser. And all these people following you, they're all losers because they believe in what you put up. But at the end of the day, you're reaching because you're a loser. Remember that. I'm going to smoke you. Remember, I'm going to smoke you. I'm going to smoke you, Tony. Keep talking your shit. You keep talking like you proud and shit. And then they with the wrong. Remember that. Look in my eyes. You're with the wrong nigga. You're with the wrong nigga. I've been in this game too long. You're with the real people after NBA season, whatever. But with me, you're wrong, baby. Remember that. I love you. And you're gonna see people. And when I shoot the shit, you ain't gonna have no more diamonds in your neck. Remember that. You're with the wrong one.
But Tony, you gotta chill, bro. You know, leave the heavy talk to these street guys. I'm sure this is hard on Envy, his empire, his family. But it's not just Envy's family or the Pina's family. It's also the victims. Their stories are heart-wrenching. Some painful to hear.
Jeff Robinson Sr. His son is an investor with Cesar Pina. He passed away tragically about 6 months ago to a car accident. After his passing, his family has been trying to get their money to take care of his children. I've heard countless amounts of stories since I've been covering this case. And when I spoke to you, it literally broke my heart. First off, hearing the father express his pain and the loss of having a child in itself is one thing. But, you know, as I heard the backstory and all the things that were happening and what you were trying to do to make sure you could make sure your son could be protected in this investment and also get his money after the fact is something that, you know, really hit home for me a little bit differently. So I wanted to come bring you up here and let people hear kind of what your dealings were with Cesar and kind of who you are, because I think this is very, very important for the masses to really truly be able to understand the type of people that they took advantage of.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just listening to you speak about the whole situation, Tony. Very sensitive issue with me. I just lost my son 6 months ago, so it's kind of like emotional. It's very difficult for me to even come up here and talk to you today. However, I know that this story must be heard because of all of the stealing that people have endured from this group of individuals. Cesar, not only Cesar, but DJ Envy and his whole entourage. Cesar is a very slick individual. Cesar is a very slick individual.
I hope that everyone that was scammed get their money back, find some form of peace. But prayers to all that was involved, whether you are on the side that got victimized or the other side that was taking advantage of what they saw as opportunities.
I'm here today, I'm speaking to you in pain, in a lot of pain, because Cesar, physically, I spoke to him multiple times when my son actually asked me to get involved when Cesar was giving him the runaround before he passed away. Cesar is a very slick individual. He never wanted to physically meet me and sit down with me to go over some of the concerns I had with my son's contracts. Had Jeff Jr. spoken to me about it in the beginning of
in the
his
meantime,
investment,
I'll make sure to keep you guys abreast of everything that's going on.
And this is one of the reasons why he didn't bring me until things started to get to the point where he could not get monies from Cesar, handle his business the way he wanted to. So he always called on me, his dad. I don't know what you want to call it, but maybe I was his enforcer because he knew no matter what, I would always come to his defense. So
World
when I
Hip Hop.
asked Cesar about
Till next time.
contracts, this frivolous
Like,
contracts,
comment, subscribe.
he never wanted to meet. He would always make excuses. Oh, bro, I'm out of town. He would tell Jeff. So I actually called Cesar myself and said, look, I have some concerns. I want to sit down and talk to you about this contract. So he would always duck and dive me as a person. Cesar just didn't know that some of the people in his circle, had knew me for many, many years in the financial world. Been in this community for over 50 years, and I'm still here. I policed this community for 25 years of my life. I lived in the same house where I am. I grew up at. So we've been here for 50 years. This is nothing new for me. My mom and dad were here in the same community where they had a junkyard, when I was able to take possession of it. I turned it into what I turned it into. And so I listen to Cesar. I'm not really a social media type of guy. All I do is I like to cook and do what I do. But he had made some allegations about how he made my son, because when Jeff Jr. met him, we were losing these very same businesses that we built from back in the early 80s. That is a poor excuse of coverage for him to say this, because I would like for him to show me in writing or in black and white where you saved these properties from my son and I. that Jeff Jr. had from friends out there, they would not let it rest. And they made it known that I was his father and he needed to be talked about. So excuse me if I may get a little emotional at times when I talk about my son, because it's just like it happened yesterday. Although it's 6 months ago, I miss him dearly. So Cesar is really playing with fire at this moment. And I'm glad that the authorities picked him up, because that is a good thing for him and his associates. I've been here for 50 years, and I'm going to stay here until God takes me home. I'm going to fight for my child until the end, until there's no longer a fight for me.